What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, hello. I'm Alicia. Nice to meet you. If you want to, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to click that bell that's like right next to it, and then mosey on over to the like button because that helps a lot. Also, if you are new, just the rundown of this channel: on Mondays it's makeup reviews and makeup tutorials, and then Wednesdays are 100% dedicated to anything and everything literature, so book reviews, writing tips, stuff like that. So if you have any book recommendations that you'd like to see me review, then don't be too scared, whatever, I can't talk today, and put it down in the comment section. Today's book that we are talking about is The Walled City by Ryan Graudin. It is another young adult novel, and if you want to see what I thought about this book, then please keep on watching. It was written, like I said, by Ryan Graudin in 2014. It takes place in a place called Hak-Nam Walled City in China, I'm assuming. Well, no, does take place in China. And one of the interesting things that I thought about this book was that it's not a dystopian novel, like, at all. Halfway through, maybe 75% through the story, and I was reading it, I just decided to just go in and Google everything. And then when I typed in The Walled City on Google, it didn't lead me to the book. There was like literally one link that had the book, and then the rest of it was about the Kowloon Walled City in Hong Kong, which is exactly where Ryan Graudin took her inspiration for the story from. So this isn't a dystopian novel. This is an actual place. Like, how she describes it, what it looks like, how people lived, that's a reality, or that was a reality. The Walled City got demolished in 1989, but it was there from like the 1800s following a war, I believe, and it kind of just stayed there. 33,000 residents live there. I'm going to show you a picture of it because they do put it in the back of the book. I could have just waited until I finished the book to see. But that's an aerial view of it. So that square, that little area, I think it was around 5 or 6 acres, I'm not sure, that is basically what the Walled City looked like. And then if you go online and you Google everything, they have pictures of it where it's literally this picture, but then it's kind of blown up to where, like, as it expands, you see Hong Kong all around it. So, I mean, it's a pretty crappy area to live in. In the book, it has 3 characters: Jin, Mei, and Dai. Jin and Mei are sisters. Mei is working in a brothel, because that's basically what happens if you are a young woman, a young attractive woman, you are working in a brothel. And a lot of the women that are working in the brothels are high or drunk, high off of opiates, and just drunk all the time, because think about it, they're having sex that they don't want with these gross, disgusting men. And then other teenagers, they were either in street gangs or they ran drugs for warlords, and that's what Dai does. Dai comes from a more affluent family. He's half Chinese, half Japanese. So that's what I found really interesting too, is that he's somebody who does come from a family of money, but at the same exact time he's like straying so far from that path. And then Jin is just trying to get her sister back. And if you're wondering why Jin is a girl and she's running around these streets, it's basically because she's disguising herself as a boy to pass, and so she doesn't get caught. So she's fast, she's quick, she like lives with a cat, and that's what I liked about her too, that she had a cat, and I was kind of jealous about that. So basically, Dai and Jin are trying to find a way out of this walled city. There is a crime lord, I forgot his name, and they're trying to defeat him as well, the crime lord that Dai works for. I found this book to be incredibly entertaining, especially for the fact that it shouldn't be classified as a dystopian novel. If you're reading a book and you see that, you know, it's very lawless, everybody's all over the place, they can do what they want, and you're reading a story about this area that is so small and all these people live there, yes, you're going to look at it as a dystopian novel, because I don't think our brains can fathom that something is like that, especially if we, you know, don't have to deal with things like that. But the fact that this is not a dystopian novel and it kind of strays away from that dystopian path, I like that a lot, because especially in 2014 with the Hunger Games, the Divergent, and all that stuff, dystopian novels were basically like the thing to write about and the thing to read about. And here is this woman who kind of found that like loop of like, hey, you're gonna read this like a dystopian novel, but surprise, it's not. You know what I mean? I did like that. You go on Goodreads, because I did go on Goodreads first just to see the review before I got the book. Just like with Ready Player One, it was half and half. People either hated this book, like they hated it. The consensus, from the majority of people that hated it were that it was slow, it was boring, they couldn't get through it, they closed the book after only being like halfway done with it, they just couldn't finish it. and the other half found it like really riveting and exciting, and I actually did enjoy it. I was part of those people that really, really liked it. My only issue was with Ryan Graudin's writing style, especially when it came to her similes and metaphors and when she was trying to use figurative language. And, you know, as a writer, you know, figurative language is something really tricky to play with because it can either work or it's not going to work. There is no middle ground. So you kind of have to be incredibly creative to get figurative writing to work. And I think for her, she was kind of like, oh, this sounds good in my head, let me write it out. And it really wasn't all that. So I mean, I have some of her stuff that I wrote down. I have like 2 specific things. She did write another simile about comparing something to a tiger. I don't freaking know. Jin says when she's looking at Dai, is I try my hardest to follow, try not to get distracted by the curl of those lashes. It's good, it's cute, you know? They're perfect for catching raindrops. What? Really? You could have left that last sentence out, because you got me with that first sentence, you know? Everybody's a sucker for somebody with good eyelashes. I mean, you know, you were lost by the curl of that, but you really had to say that they're perfect for catching raindrops? Like, really? That didn't, no. That was not okay. Another thing that she said when it comes to similes, she has loads and loads of terrible, horrible, atrocious similes, but the one that got me the most was when she said, my emotions are like pounds of overcooked rice noodles. What in the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, can somebody tell me what that means? Like, have you ever overcooked rice noodles? What is it like? What's the consistency? Does it taste bad? Like, what does that do for me? How am I supposed to know what your emotions are like? Like, I understand that you're nervous. That's what I was kind of getting. But to say that your emotions are like overcooked rice noodles? The hell are you trying to say? That makes no sense whatsoever. And, you know, I think that she kind of got like carried away with trying to be too creative with your words, with her words. I think that's what basically happened. And if she does write another book, or if she has another book, maybe it's different, I don't know. But that kind of lost me with those similes. They were so bad. And I think another thing too, you know, she's not Asian whatsoever. She is not of Asian descent. She is white, and I don't know if she knows a lot about Asian culture, but I feel like if you are writing about a culture that you might not know too much about, you're going to rely really heavily on stereotypes in order to make something work. Now, that may not be the case for her. She may be a really well-traveled person, and I would say the same exact thing if it was like anybody else. So don't be like, oh, why are you complaining about her being white? I'm not. It's just, if you are unfamiliar with another culture and you're writing on something based on what you have seen or from anywhere else, you might rely heavily on stereotypes. I can do that. If I'm writing about somebody who is of South Asian descent or somebody who is of Hispanic descent, those are cultures that I'm not too familiar with. And if I don't take that time to kind of, you know, do my research and stuff like that, and if I ever decide to write something on that, I can't rely too heavily on stereotypes because that is going to work against me. And I feel like that's what a lot of her similes came from. Written in the first person perspective, it follows 3 specific characters, like I said, so each person kind of gets their own chapter. So in one chapter you're reading in the perspective of Jin, the next one you're reading in Mei, and the next one you're reading in Dai. And I think that really does work quite a bit. There is, like, later in the ending chapters, they kind of like switch back and forth within a chapter, which I did like. I enjoy that a lot. I like reading stories where you're reading in first person, but it's in the perspective of other people within the same exact book. I did find this book incredibly entertaining. I finished this book in a day and a half or 2 days. That's just me. I read really fast. Taking away the similes and metaphors that she uses and the overuse of figurative and flowery language, it did, you know, other than that, it really didn't bother me that much. I found this book to be incredibly entertaining. I'd like to see it played out in, like, on screen, just because I think it would be interesting. But yeah, if you like books that are dystopian, even though this one is not dystopian, it takes you on a different journey. And if you like the fact, I actually enjoyed the fact that it was taking place in a different country other than America, because a lot of dystopian novels kind of focus on, like, here only and kind of ignores everything else. Really interesting. So let me know if you guys pick this up. Let me know what you think of it, because like I said on Goodreads, people either hated it or they loved it. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. minus the similes and metaphors that she used. But yeah, next week I'll probably do another book review or do some writing tips. I have not decided yet, but I will see you guys on my next What's the Word Wednesday. I hope you have a great rest of the week and an amazing, fun weekend. Stay safe out there. Love you guys.